Welcome to Till All Are Done, the show where we take a look at one toy for every character in the Transformers universe. Today we'll be looking at a toy from the Predacon's first new member, and that is the War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Blackarachnia figure. But if you want to start from the very beginning with Optimus Primal and Megatron, or even further than that with G1 characters, check out the playlist in the description or click the card in the corner. But the best way to hang out and watch these videos is to subscribe and see which toys I'm going to showcase next. Well, that advantage didn't last long now, didn't it? After the Maximal pseudo-recruit Tigatron on their team, giving them the man advantage, we roll right into the episode Double Jeopardy, where Tarantulas got his 8 hands on a stasis pod and reprogrammed it to make another spider bot. And man, did Evil Bro cook. Give him a round of applause. No, not like that, you horn dogs. Well, maybe like that. Give him a round of applause. But also, he gave us the best female character in the Transformers franchise, don't at me. Design in cartoon is certainly perfect, but this is what her original toy looked like. A repaint of Beast Wars Tarantulas that looks nothing like her. We got some retools and repaints along the way, but it wasn't until War for Cybertron Kingdom did we get something that looks so strikingly close. It's not even funny, and this is the toy we have to review today. Yes, Masterpiece did it first, okay. I'm trying to keep it in the budget so the show doesn't get cancelled by the network, okay. We'll get right into it with the robot mode, and bam, did they nail it. It's instantly recognizably her because all the colors are in the right place and the hallmarks of the design are there, like the hands, the head details, the leg design, and everything that's going on with the torso. Don't make me go over it, you have eyes. I actually kind of like this look better because it's a bit more realistic that there would be a little bit of spider kibble on her back. Literally the only remnants of the spider on the cartoon model are just the spider legs on her arms. This is more realistic, but at the same time the designers are magicians for being able to do this. Much of the spider does get hidden away in plain sight, and you'll see that when we get to the transformation section. Somehow you still get the accurate profile from the show on top of it all, the details being nearly one-to-one. Hell, this look for the toy is actually more accurate to the original cartoon look than it is for the War for Cybertron Kingdom look. That's crazy. So are we going to the unification aesthetics or not, fam? I'm just trying my damnness to treat these Kingdom toys as their own separate designs, and this is so close to the Masterpiece version, just smaller. It's actually toys like this that have sparked the conversation about why we need Masterpiece at all. It really has been going downhill lately, and that's why they went with the Style Gen stuff, because they needed to do something different. I can see why, because these toys are getting pretty close, damn. But even a cheap ass like me can assure you that the Masterpiece is priced the way it is for a reason, and you get most of what you're paying for. Sometimes no, but most of the time yes. Some of my problems with this are build quality and engineering related. Dennis Moulton, the reviewer, put out a very good argument that this toy is very light and they used less plastic to make it, and at first I thought it wasn't a good argument. That was that, but his words never really left my consciousness, and now I think there's actually a ton of validity to his argument now that prices have gone up. For one, look how skinny the arms are, essentially at the part where the spider legs attach, and no, it's not a fembot thing, they are just really small. Just moving it around for posing her or to even give it a firm stance, I feel like these gorilla hands of mine are going to break it eventually. We've seen small deluxes like SS86 Bumblebee and big deluxes like Gamer Edition Barricade, and they're both at the same price point. There's smaller Voyagers now, like SS86 Ironhide, and the argument is that the scale is being paid more attention to and the part count is higher. I find that hard to believe sometimes, and really I just see less material being used in the overall product to make up for a more profitable sell. But that's what repaints are supposed to be for. Hasbro sometimes packs these smaller scale toys with extra guns to make up for them having less material, like they did with Gamer Bumblebee, but one could argue that that's not a good reason to charge the same or more. You should charge less. You see the tension now? Both sides of the argument are completely valid, so when we get to this Blackarachnia that uses less materials than your average Deluxe Class toy, And it's unnecessarily small without being core class. You feel ripped off. However, she's completely in scale with her Predacon team, and her engineering to pull off the look this accurate is correct. So who is right? Frankly, both are. As the prices of these toys increase, though, it does lean more and more into Dennis Moulton's argument. It's a firm one, but both sides, I guess, have an argument for this. At least her iconic weapon is here, which shouldn't be in question, but there are Legacy and Age of the Primes Armada Universe figures that don't come with their mini-cons, and they have to be sold in a separate pack with a repaint of a toy I don't want. Not bitter. But the weapon looks pretty good despite the fact that you can't remove the bullet from the gun. With all the budget you save on plastic, you could have made these two separate pieces, right?
We'll be right back.
So we got some good and bad things when it came to the robot mode, but the articulation definitely does much better than that. And even despite how light the toy is. Head has a ton of range to start off with 360-degree rotation, then you can tilt the head side to side on the ball joint and forward and back as well, but that's not all. The ball joint is actually pinned to the torso, so you can rotate that joint forwards about 45 degrees, and then if you move the backpack, the head rotates right back into the flight position. And ladies and gentlemen, that's just the head articulation. We have more to cover. The shoulders do a 360 rotation and they shoot outwards 135 degrees, amazing. Then you have a 360 bicep swivel at the top of the spider leg section and a 360 elbow swivel on the bottom of it. You have a 90-degree elbow forward and you have less than 90 degrees backwards. There's no wrist swivel, but the way that the hands are designed, you don't really need it. That 90-degree elbow swivel acts like a wrist swivel, so impressive so far. I guess the only sore spot is no waist rotation, but we do make up for it with the legs having 90 degrees backwards and 90 to the sides, but the waist impedes the forward movement, giving you a bit more than 45 degrees, so a bit of a trade-off there. You have 360 hip swivels and very deep knee bends, like 180 degrees deep, wow. And the knee guards also move to 180 degrees as well, which is a nice bonus. This is all possible thanks to the transformation, by the way. Then the feet rock forward 90 degrees, inward 90 degrees, and outward 45 degrees. So as you can see, the articulation is fire, and it can stand up on its own, thankfully. It's just too bad this thing is so light, because a small gust of wind can blow this thing over sometimes. Yeah, it's in my basement on my shelf, and there's no fucking tornadoes there, and shit blowing around my basement, thankfully. But sometimes I walk by and this thing falls over, and I didn't even touch it. That's the lack of plastic coming back to haunt us, but otherwise I love posing this toy with all its ability to articulate and pose. I mentioned the transformation hides robot parts in plain sight and the rest gets hidden away. This is another miracle transformation considering how little alt mode kibble you had to work with and how little robot kibble you'll end up with in the spider mode. Of course, something this remarkable doesn't happen without it being complex. It's not a tab fest, which is good, but parts do have to fit in their intended place perfectly, or else you are going to have a bad time. One part of the transformation has expanded what I think is possible in this slider joint that you pull out to rotate the arm direction and then push it back in, and those hands are perfectly sculpted to fit over the heels of the robot feet. Holy smokes, we are collapsing almost everything from the robot mode and completely folding it into a package to fit underneath the spider abdomen. The weapon still fits under there too, but it pegs in. You have to make sure the robot mode arms are exactly lined up to properly catch both tabs. I absolutely believe you wouldn't be able to do this straight out of the box without the instructions. It's too intricate with where the pieces have to go, especially wrapping the folded robot legs around the spider butt. I'm annoyed that I can't get it symmetrical most of the time, but after you do it a couple times, I have to admit it's an impressive feat for a transformation, and there's no part forming or kibble at all. Pretty impressive stuff here. Admittedly though, once the fascination wears off, I'm probably not going to want to transform her again. Just being honest, it's not a JR Magnus approved desk former, but still very cool.
We're back.
Alright, here is Kingdom Blackarachnia in her Black Widow beast mode, and it's kinda scary. Yeah, damn. You can tell Legacy Tarantulas is a toy. I mean, it's a big purple tarantula with green eyes. Okay, Bradley, quit putting spider toys in my room. God. But If you were a bit sleepy and this spider was sitting on your desk, you might actually hit the ceiling when you realize this Black Widow is sitting there beside you. Pretty damn convincing. The process of getting it to beast mode is a bit challenging, but I like the result quite a bit. I complained about the toy being a bit too light of a figure, but you know what? It actually helps to hold the weight of the body on the spider legs, and I can pose the legs in many different ways and angles without them going limp on me. Stupid design choice to go with ball joints on the legs, an even stupider choice for the mushroom pegs holding the whole leg assembly together, but it does work out in this case. Mine is fresh out of the box, but I wonder if it had been secondhand, would the integrity be completely fine? I mean, it's clear that over the years, Hashtag has learned nothing, but I'll let you know in about a decade if the joints have weakened, and maybe the answer is going to be no, or maybe it's going to be yes. Another thing that's less problematic for people who are just going to display her is you can't really move her around too much in the fear that the few points holding the spider mode together will pop out of place. All her pieces from the robot mode are not holding together that tightly, so it's not as playable as, let's say, Kingdom Tigertron or even Legacy Tarantulas, which again feels a lot more solid. This toy definitely favored being less of an action figure and more of an engineering showcase for displaying, so you do need to be more ginger with it if you do want to play around with it. But otherwise, brilliant. It's super believable as a beast mode for Blackarachnia with the black and yellow color scheme and that hits of red on the back and the eyes. I still love the robot mode better, but this is also a good choice for display, especially if the rest of the cast is going to be in beast mode and you got a motif like that going on. So when I need a Blackarachnia toy on the shelf, I'm not thinking about any other toy from any other generation. This is the one that's going to be there, taking the place. Pretty happy with this one.
We're back.
I may not like every aspect of the toy, but I'm still pretty high on it overall. Aside from Dinobot, which takes the gold medal, this toy has also impressed me on the engineering front. My biggest problems with the toy is that I wish it was a bit bigger and more heavy. Fuck the Fembot mores and fuck your scale. I know how much I love scale, but I even can admit that if they bulked up this toy a little bit, it would have been for its own good. I think the Legacy Tarantulas got it right proportionally, and she could have been a little bit more slender than that, and it would have been alright. When I crack ass sitting at my desk, she's at risk of falling over. That's not what I want for my toys. I get there's bigger issues than that, but damn. It does many other things great though, including both modes. The transformation and articulation is absolutely phenomenal. I can't help but give the toy a pretty favorable review still, in spite of those things, at a 3.5 out of 5 stars. With this run of Kingdom figures I've covered recently, there is room for minor improvements to make them mini masterpieces, but line-wide they still did an amazing job. Sure, you have your Rhinox and Pterosaur as the worst cases, but even the rest I haven't reviewed all seem to be solid toys. So you should be comfortable picking up this toy if interested, and pretty happy with it. Or you can get the Predacon 7-pack version, which has the Takara Deco. I think it's a great toy at the end of the day. Marvelous stuff, and we'll take a look at another Fembot in the next episode as well. Sorry for the delay on this one. I've been just going through the motions of life right now. But the next one is going to be another Kingdom figure. I was pretty heavy-handed with the OG toys in the beginning, but now we're catching up, looking at the contemporaries and seeing how good they are. Be sure to subscribe to catch the next videos, and I'm always eternally grateful when you spend your time here watching the JR Magnus channel. Love you all, and peace out.